Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay. House Speaker Mike Johnson was commenting to reporters at the U.S. Capitol on Thursday about Thomas Massie's effort to force a vote releasing the Department of Justice's remaining evidence on Jeffrey Epstein. A CNN congressional correspondent asked Johnson about Trump calling the ongoing controversy over Epstein a hoax. At that point, Johnson insisted that Trump's statement was being misconstrued by the media. First off, no, it isn't. And Johnson said, quote, "I've talked with him about this many times. It's been misrepresented. He's not saying what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him, Epstein, out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try and take this stuff down." Now, that's an interesting little slip, if you will. Now, did he say that on purpose? Maybe. Did that slip out because Johnson knows more about Trump? And, it's kind of like, I know this, because he kind of slowed down as he was saying it. He got a little softer, and then you could see kind of a moment, literally like when you fart and maybe you were pressing a little too hard. That kind of feeling? Sharding, as they call it. Like, oops, I wasn't supposed to say that. So Trump's the snitch. We know snitches get stitches. Anyways, it's interesting that slips out because I remember within the last month, and it probably showed up on a TikTok I was watching, about an interview with Jeffrey Epstein. And it was either that interview I was watching or somebody else talking about the history of Epstein. But Epstein was convinced that Trump ratted him out to the FBI, which is what got him arrested in the first place. I believe this was after they had the falling out with regards to a real estate deal. And I think what it was is that Epstein was eyeing a certain property in Florida that he was going to pay like $30 million for. And he called Trump down to get Trump's opinion on remodeling and stuff that he could do with the place. And then Trump liked it so much, he bought it for like $40 million. He outbid Epstein for it. This is the same property that Trump later sold to a Russian oligarch for like $100 million. And it was like, a good $40 or $50 million above market value. And the oligarch never lived in the place. I think bulldozed it too. But Epstein, and this is what caused them to sour on their friendship, was that Trump was willing to screw over his best friend to make $10 million. Just lets you know where you are on the food chain. Everybody's got a price, and Donald Trump always has a price. And then I think Epstein when I remember the story, Epstein got mad at Trump and threatened to expose him for stuff that Trump had done. Either, money laundering or crooked business deals or something along those lines. And so that's when Trump likely dropped the dime with the FBI on Epstein to get Epstein arrested. You can see how this kind of goes. It's sort of you're coming for me, I'm going to get you first type of thing. And now you get this story that Trump was allegedly an FBI informant. That tried to get Epstein taken down for his crimes against girls. Okay. Makes sense, doesn't it? Now, you'd think a hero like Donald Trump, FBI informant that takes down a prolific sex trafficker and child pedophile, would be proud of his actions and want that information to come out so he could proudly show his cred that he's for protecting children. But he says the whole Epstein thing is a hoax. And that's when he says the Epstein files are a hoax. It's a Democratic hoax and a Democratic witch hunt. I don't care what Mike Johnson says. It's like, that's not... Trump doesn't want those files released because Trump's name is all over it. It's been redacted to hell and back, but it's all over it. We're also going to toss in there for fun. There was a a senior member of the Department of Justice who had gone on a couple of dates with a woman, but the woman was working for a far right group that often, covertly films and records conversations with people as gotcha moments. And when talking with this fellow, she was asking about the Maxwell testimony and her moving in prison and what would be released in the Epstein files. And he basically said, they're going to scrub the thing of all Republicans and redact it and then just show liberals or Democrats, and that Maxwell should never have been transferred to that minimum security prison that was clearly done as a favor. Now, this far right-wing publication, I believe it's associated with Project Veritas. Again, this is something that they do, and they called this guy a leftist or something like that. The person in question, and Libby just did a reading on this guy too. The person in question said that told his supervisors this was all his personal opinion. This was nothing. The woman he's on a date with, he told her nothing of his job or what he specialized in the DOJ. And again, that this was his personal opinion, not based on anything he's seen or done with involving this case. And that might be true. But the problem is it's out there now, and it raises the specter of a cover-up. To me, means that, kind of like we saw before with other documents, probably a judge should be looking at the redactions, or a group of judges or something like that should be looking at the Department of Justice's redactions in this case to make sure that anything redacted is either to protect victim identities or to protect information on ongoing investigations. And that things aren't being redacted just to protect people. I believe the Mueller report was had to go through that, didn't it? It was something like that. It was either the Mueller report or something else, but I think it was the Mueller report. And I think that's a very reasonable course of action to go with this, because the specter of a cover-up is now looming because of this person who's a senior DOJ official being caught on video saying this. Whether he represents conservatives, liberals, it doesn't matter. It's out there, and it should be treated as such. Okay. So, 8 minutes in, what am I actually going to read on? I want to read on Mike Johnson's statement about Trump being an FBI informant. Was that a whoopsie, or was that intended to be dropped to try and provide Trump some cover? Come on now, let's take a look. Again, this will be for entertainment purposes only. Let's see what we got. Foundation of the reading is the Four of Pentacles. Key information, things of value that should be kept close to your vest. And the crossed with the Five of Wands. The reason why you keep it close to your vest is the pandemonium that would break out if you lose control of that information or lose control of those things of value. It's almost like a feeding frenzy. And then underneath it is the Wheel of Fortune, because if you let go of this information and it gets out like, a bait ball in a sea of sharks, you don't know what's going to happen next. You lose control of things. Now, in the most positive way, you could say if you slowly release this information to a pack of hungry reporters, now you can control the narrative. But to me, the vibe is you're going to lose control of the narrative if you release this stuff. In the past, you get the Devil card here. Corrupt actions. Why would Trump share that information with the FBI? Knowing him, the simplest answer is that Trump, it was now a battle between Epstein and Trump wasn't going to let Epstein get the first shot. Right? If you're going to wait for the clock to toll noon before you shoot, well, Trump's going to shoot early because it doesn't matter how you play the game as long as you win type of thing. That's kind of what I'm getting from this, is the corruption that's involved with it. Current situation is the Queen of Cups. I don't think he was supposed to let that go. I could see it going either way, feeding the frenzy so that you can control the narrative. But I think that one slipped up. And the reason why I say that is because the Queen of Cups is keeping the lid on things, keeping things tight in association with that Four of Coins. This was supposed to be information that was kept quiet. And now it's out there. And you think about it, what else has Trump told the FBI back in the day? Who else has he snitched on? And how many more enemies is he going to make with this? How many wealthy people have wondered suspected that Trump maybe told the FBI something, and now they find out that he's done that to Epstein. And if he'll do it to his best friend, he would do it to his worst enemy. Overarching energy is the Knight of Coins. If he'll do it to his best, wealthiest friends, he'll do it to anyone. Nine of Coins. Trump cares about one thing. He cares about himself and his comfort. Lesson to be learned is the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, but just saying, things of value. Let me offer you things of value so I can maintain my standard of living. Yeah, I bought that house right from underneath them. Outcome, 10 of Coins. It impacts Trump's legacy. Well, now we know that he's an FBI informant. He's fighting for the good guys. We've all been so wrong about this guy over the years. We all just thought he was some vacuous, corrupt person who, stiffed the little guy and reneged on all his deals and stuff like that. But no, he was fighting the good fight with the FBI to take down child sex traffickers. How could we be so naive? Clearly, our Trump derangement syndrome has addled our brains. That's gotta be it, right? Oh, and for those reading this on captions, and you don't get voice inflection with the captions, that's extreme sarcasm. Oh, dear God. Okay, what happens as a result of Johnson putting out information that Trump was an FBI informant? How does that change the dynamic of the Epstein files? It's interesting. In my videos, I had a couple of ad suitability flags. One was discussing Jack Smith and him being accused of violating the Hatch Act. Caught a flag, a cautionary flag for ads. But that's what happened. He was accused of that. Where's the controversy? I mean, other than the fact that it sounds like it's bogus, but I don't think that's what YouTube was talking about. The other was just recent one where I had, the Epstein, I use the term victims. Thank you for those who reminded me that the term survivor is a preferred term. Get the files released. And that one got flagged. But the one I put the next day, the day after they did their testimony, that one hasn't been flagged. So I don't understand YouTube. I don't understand it at all. Gary got hit with a flag on the Twin channel because of nudity on his one of his tarot cards, which is why you see mine have been redacted in certain areas. Dr. Lena got nailed with this about a month ago, and now my brother just got hit with it. Prude Tube, I guess, is maybe they should change their name. It's not like these cards are explicit, right? Right. Okay. How does, back to this, how does the energy change in the zeitgeist now that Mike Johnson has let slip that Donald Trump is an FBI informant extraordinaire? Four Cups. I don't think Trump was real happy about that being let out there. Now, again, for us, it's like, not surprised. Yeah, I heard that accusation. It wouldn't surprise me because the motivations are not pure. But it doesn't excuse Trump for all the things that he did. I don't think there's anything he provided the FBI that was so valuable to excuse him of it. Crossed with the devil card and the 8 of coins. Yeah, how does it change things? Trump was, basically, he's a pouty little child who does not do things for the betterment of others. He does it for the betterment of himself. It kind of more explains the man and his motivation for money, or in this case, like revenge. But I don't think he's real happy that this got out there. 5 of Cups, minor death card. Yeah, this wasn't something that was supposed to be released. This was something that was supposed to be kept quiet. Current situation is the Ace of Pentacles. Now he's going to have a health event to get people to stop talking about it. But I think that Trump would be the kind of guy that after being a quote-unquote FBI informant and turning Epstein in, he'd have done it for the reward money that would have came with it. Where's my reward for doing that? There's a big financial push or something along those lines. How does it change things? There's a money issue here. Fool card. I wonder if he's going to sell new T-shirts. The Trump FBI informant or new ETFs. There's an opportunity here for a new start. Talking about your actions in the world card. It's funny. In some ways, if Trump leaned into this, he could say, yeah, I did that. My best friend disappointed me. I took that opportunity to turn a new leaf and help become the defender of law and order, and I've lived my life that way ever since, because that's who I am. Good, hardworking man. He could try to create a narrative with his base, but I don't think that's where this is going. We're in the wrong. You're on the wrong side of. I'm on the wrong side of YouTube if I'm going to try and sell that narrative. Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's real happy that got that out. That was supposed to be quiet. I think he's concerned that if he's been out as an FBI informant, that's going to cost him money with shady deals that he's doing, because now people understand who he is and what he's willing to do and say to protect himself in the end. I think that's where this is going. Johnson just cost Trump millions of dollars, basically. Everybody's going to check Trump for a wire now. Oh, and then you got the world card on there too. So this could cause other world leaders or other entities outside of the United States to rethink the deals that they're cutting with Trump, because he literally cannot be trusted. The thing with crooks is that, and I'm saying this without any personal experience, and I don't even know if TV is going to help me here, but crooks like birds of a feather. They're going to want to flock together, and the worst thing you can do when you're in a group like that is found out to be an FBI informant. You're a snitch, and that's like the biggest crime in that circle. You're all in it together. Oh, this guy's a snitch. Now he might be ostracized. What are the consequences for Trump because of this? For Carter, just consequences as a fallout for this, as the repercussions of him being an FBI informant are ripple through. It's kind of what I asked before, but now I'm kind of doing it from a colleague point of view. His colleagues or other countries that are currently trying to cut deals with him, they now find out that he's been an FBI informant, and how is that going to impact their dealings with him? Queen of Pentacles. It's a card. This is a card of practicality. They can look at his actions as being practical, or they're being practical with their money, but this is not opulence. This is bare bones stuff. So it might just be that any big opportunities are going to walk away, and now we're going to keep things really simple and straightforward. You got the Nine of Cups, hopes, wishes, dreams fulfilled, or smug merchant. Queen of Swords, just business, nothing personal. The Fool card, that new start, and the Four of Swords. Yeah, okay, so I think what's going to happen is that new financial opportunities or things that he had going on, these are going to be put on the back burner for a while. Because now they know who they're dealing with, and this is a guy that's going to tell a judge and jury, he's the type of guy who's going to testify against them because he's a snitch. Yeah, that's going to cause business deals that Trump thought he had in the bag or was going to have in the bag. It's going to cause those things to go quiet. Nobody wants to deal with a snitch. What's the fallout? Lastly, let's say the best for last here. What's the fallout for Mike Johnson from Trump after revealing this? What's going to be the fallout for Mike Johnson? For Mike Johnson revealing this. Now, again, for all we know, Johnson was told to reveal this to help with Trump's legacy. But if things go... Remember, there's no bus that Trump won't throw anybody underneath. So Trump could have told him to do this, and if for the next 2 weeks Trump is hailed as an upstanding guy, he'll say Mike Johnson was the most brilliant person he ever met. But on week 3, if all of a sudden there's fallout saying he's a snitch and everybody hates him, well, he'll say Mike Johnson shouldn't have leaked that out, and he's a bad person, and he should be held accountable for that, and maybe he should sue Johnson. It literally would go like that. We've seen this time and time again. What's going to be ultimately the fallout for Mike Johnson by inadvertently, air quotes, inadvertently releasing this information? Four-carder. Somebody might be looking for a new job. Ten of Coins. That was the outcome for Trump. That legacy. That card was also there too. Offering information, kind of, being a sellout sort of thing here. And then needing to go away. Ten of Cups. I guess it really depends, and just kind of how I did the lead in here. It really depends on public opinion. The public celebrates it. Mike Johnson's a true leader. If the public no longer celebrates this, Mike Johnson's looking for a new job. To me, this is Mike Johnson looking for something new. He's going to get kicked out of the club. He let that information out. This is information that should never have come out, and now there's damage control that needs to be done. If anything, this puts more pressure on the DOJ to release the files because, Trump he's an FBI informant. He's the hero in this story. And that's, not only does MAGA want those files released, but they want those files released saying Clinton bad, Trump good. Clinton did all the bad things, Trump did none of the bad things. We'll see what happens. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.